Okay, so this is first off, apologies about the audio if it's not great. You might have to turn up your volume. I've done what I can, and I'll have to look at it later. But I haven't been doing the whole recording thing in a while. But this is a design that I'm working on. I'm in an industrial design program, and this is a design that I was told not to work on right now. That there are other projects, but parts of this are meant to be laser cut, and then parts of it are meant to be 3D printed. So what I have here is a screw that this screw engages with this here, and it rotates it, which not all of the geometry on here is done. So that's why I made this a little test bed, which part of it's hidden. I'm not going to go in and try to find any of that stuff. But so what we'll do now, actually, we'll hide this and where is it? So worm gear, that's the name of it. There we go. But the worm gear engages there, and this is a little. Sorry, I don't have a mic to show you, or a camera to show you parts that I made, but this is yeah, screw. But the point is that this guy is hard to print, and one of the ways to make it easier to print, and that I've gotten much better prints, is by using tree supports. So we'll go over to Cura and we'll open this up. And so sure, you can print this just straight up, and there's quite a bit of overhang, but if I were to change the geometries of this, it would actually print pretty good just straight. But the problem is strength, and so what I do is I will rotate the model somewhere around that or so. I'm also keeping this geometry at the top, because if I put it at the bottom, it'll have to account for that. The other thing is notice how there's only a little bit attached there. But what I'm going to do is I'll set my layer height at a multiple of 0.04 millimeters. So say 16 is a multiple of that. And then, I don't know, my infill set it at 30. I mean, with this as like a test print, normally I do it lower, but I'm not actually going to be printing this. So you notice here that I have all of these settings visible. I have everything visible. Whenever you open up Cura, what it shows you by default is something along the lines of this, or something even smaller. So what I do is I click over here and go to Show All Settings. Is this recording? Yes. Okay, good. Sorry. I'm paranoid about that. But so we go to Show All Settings, and then with the Show All Settings, oftentimes they'll be clicked smaller, which if you don't access it, don't need it, you can keep it small. I tend to have it open. But so if you'll notice the support, there are no options listed right now. So there's nothing listed under the support. And that's also tree supports are not enabled. So we can click on tree supports. Now, I will admit that I've changed some of these settings, and I honestly don't remember exactly why I've changed some of them, but it's just that I'll change them until they make sense. And what I'm talking about is the tree support branch angle. I honestly don't understand what quite a few of these things do, and they have do the descriptions. But what I do is I just change a number until it looks like something that will print well. And also, if you notice, now that I clicked on tree support, all of the options, the generate support options, have popped up. The big one is support Z distance. This is the distance that the support is away from your part. And now you're doing tree supports, which are over here, but it doesn't have support Z distance over here. Now, if you had this option closed and you're like, oh, I enabled tree supports, but they're really hard to get off, well, that's why you don't have, open this thing up again, you don't have the your support distance set correctly. So what I like to do is I like to put that at the same amount as your layer height. So where it's one layer height different. Or you could do it at like say half or something. That's up to you. Really what I suggest is doing test parts, test prints. So then say, let's see, over here in Fusion, let's take this worm gear and we're going to move and make a copy of it. So I'm moving this over here, click OK. Then I'm going to right click, wait, no, make a mid-plane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half. So I selected here, then I selected over here, click OK, and then I'm going to go to split body. This is the body we're splitting, this is the tool, and so then we can go and we can export. I'm going to find it. This is bad practice. See this? Bad practice. Somewhere we have this part. Where is it? Well, that's embarrassing. It's in there somewhere, and I have all this stuff. But anyway, my point is that, oh, there we go. It's up here. So save as STL, save, open up Cura, import your part, and then do the same sort of geometry changes where it's like this. And so then you have your part that you're printing. You want to have these, by the way, in terms of tree supports, you want free space around them. So let's go ahead and slice this and wait. I'm running an older computer, but it's pretty good at working on this. I'm also, because it just takes so long, I'm not going to, and I want to get this video out relatively quickly. I'm not going to do too much changing around in this, but the big point is that you can change these numbers and the tree supports change. And if it looks like your print isn't going to be supported, then change the settings until it is. Oh, by the way, each time you change a setting and it tries to slice, preferences, configure Cura, and oh, where is it? Slice automatically. Uncheck that. Don't ever have that checked. Slice automatically, that shouldn't even be a thing. It shouldn't exist. It's dumb, and I hate it. Because look how long it's taking this to slice. Imagine it doing this each and every single time you change a setting. It's annoying. It's not productive. We're waiting. If I was doing good practices with YouTube videos, I'd also edit this down. Okay, well, that's taking too long. Let's go look at this. Here's the design from one of my industrial design classes. If you'll notice, I have, let's undo these moves. Aha, I love you, Fusion. If you'll notice, I have a pre-existing part in here, which I think is very, very, very good practice. You design your thing. First, whatever you're designing around, so this is going to be wood, you design this. And then once this is designed and built up, then you design around it. Something I'm doing with wood pieces. Yeah, so if any of this interests you guys, just ask. Oh, this one's fun. It's probably done slicing by now. Now we have to wait for everything. Oh, no, it isn't. Everything's waiting. OBS, we doing good? Doing good? Okay, great. Yeah, okay. The Death Star. No, not Death Star, it's something else. Anyway, this. So, these are large bearings, and one of these wouldn't actually need to have a bearing. One of them, this one would need to be solidly connected. Anyway, there's extra stuff visible, whatever. So there'd be a rod going through here, and one this would turn, but the rest of these are just bolted in place, and they would then turn. So this one would turn this, and then all these are doing is keeping this in place and in sync. But yeah, it's I saw it, and I wanted to try to figure out how to model it, because I even downloaded the model, but you couldn't quite tell, and so um, yeah, modeling it was weird. There are also multiple. That shouldn't be there. Oh my goodness. I probably have something else in. Oh, here we go. I have adaptive layers and turned on, and that makes it go super slow. Now it'll go faster. This is also what I get for staying up late. On the subject of on the subject of designing around other objects, while we wait for it to finish, which it should be pretty quick. I grabbed from an Ender 3 model, I grabbed this NEMA 17 stepper motor and threaded rod and stuff. And the purpose of this platform is to go up and down. And so I'm designing around something existing, and I'm also being very good with my parametric designs. Are we done yet? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Fusion's running a bunch. Cura. And then there's a Cura engine. This is what's doing the slicing, so let's allow it to do lots of work. This is Process Explorer. It's a Windows thing. You can download it. It's free. But the higher I set it, the more memory it'll use and the more processor it'll use. Oh my goodness. It's not normally this slow. I'm also recording at the same time, and this is not like, in its time, this was a good computer. And I'm also like, you know, having a bunch of things open in this. Don't save. Especially don't save. Oh, this is fun. I made this huge worm gear, designed it so that I could print it in multiple pieces and then put it together. And then I realized, hey wait, I could just make a smaller design. And then, hey wait, I can use gears. We done yet? Oh, okay, processing layers, great. So the design that I ended up using, oh, hey look, Copic marker thing, involved it's this one that had all the gears and stuff, the little test bed thing that you saw. Anyway, okay, great, look, we're done. So yeah, which the major points, I mean, I already told you, we didn't even have to wait for this to happen, but go down a bit and take a look, get all up in its business at this, and you can see how it's not quite touching. So it's going to be deformed here, but I printed this model at these settings, or at least very close to it, and it came off great. You can see it from the bottom, and it's the support settings are just fascinating. Even here, where it's hardly even connected, it came off just fine. It was a little bit droopy around this, but everything else was generally correct. And then especially having only one, so if I go and I delete this, one, it's going to slice faster. Two, it's going to be a much quicker print, because that was 10 hours for printing the full one and the sample, which now we wait. Okay, while we're waiting, just look at this again because it's cool. Ooh, it's time for me to get a new computer. Here we go. Um, Click on the ads, please. There aren't any ads. So yeah, that doesn't look very fun. But then this, you've got your worm gear driving that. That's turning. This is turning, and then that is turning. And I used an online gear generator. Pretty nifty stuff. Let's see. Gear generator. This website. Oh, hey, look. Is this one I made? It's very similar to one I made in the past. But anyway, yeah, import RPM. So we've like gone way off topic. Yeah, there we go. 3 hours to print your test piece, and you'd be able to know if it comes off or not. For that matter, you make the thing even smaller, where you slice it here, slice it there, and then you're looking at an hour print, 35-minute print. You know, short time. Anyway, hope that helped. If you have questions, feel free to respond back and stuff.